Welcome to A Better HR Business, the podcast that looks at how HR consultants and HR tech firms grow their businesses and how they help their employers to get the best out of their people. Remember, for show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Okay, let's get started.
Hello, thanks for joining me. Great to have you along again. And I'm really looking forward to today's conversation with Luca Lotterio. Luca, firstly, has very kindly agreed to do this in English because he is based in Turin or Torino in Italy. So Italian is his first language, obviously. But Luca is co-founder and CEO of Restworld, which is an amazing matching HR platform for the restaurant industries. Obviously starting off in Italy, but going worldwide now and beyond. And so it's also a recruiting as a service for employers, provides job board, map and personal assistant for workers, etc. It does all sorts of amazing things. But Luca, firstly, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you for your time and for your invitation. It's really a pleasure to be in a podcast that talk about HR. That is something that I'm feeling from almost my entire life. So thank you for having me here.
Very good, very good. And I have to reveal something personal about myself before we get started. Weirdly, Ben is short for Benvenuto. So I once went to Italy and I thought, right, I'm going to call myself Benvenuto, see what happens. So I said, Io sono Benvenuto. Hello, I'm Benvenuto. But they all just said, hello, I'm welcome. I should have said my name is Benvenuto. But anyway, we digress. Yeah, so take us back one step and what got the idea into your mind. Give us the backstory, maybe the short history of it, and then we'll work out exactly what Restworld does.
Yes, I will try to do it shortly, most of all, because I'm not so old. So basically, I was studying psychology at the university. In the meantime, I was working in restaurants as many students do to pay the studies. So I started working in Edinburgh, then I moved in, living in Tenerife. I've been living in Romania, and when I was back in Italy, I was working during the summer in different seasons in the mountains, on the seaside, and I was always working in restaurants. So different levels, kitchen, floor, bar, management. I helped a couple of friends to open a restaurant. I've never been in the company, but I helped them from the concept to the formats, to the tone of voice, to the kind of customers that we were looking for. So I see restaurants from different perspectives.
Nice.
In the meantime, I was studying psychology, but I was focusing on psychology of work and wellness in organizations. When I came up to my thesis at the university, I was feeling like something broken between what I was studying, that was wellness in the organization, and the reality inside of the hospitality sector was quite a mess. I mean, hospitality is known as not the better sector where to work. No, it's a cultural idea of the hospitality as a mess of place where to work, with so many hours working in the weekends. The salaries sometimes are not good. Sometimes the entrepreneurs in this sector are good to cook but not good to manage people. So there are a lot of discrepancy between what's a good job and what's the reality of the job in the hospitality sector. So my thesis was, how can we take hospitality and give back value to the jobs in hospitality? That was the object of the thesis, investigate both sides of workers and employers and understand what was going good, what was going wrong, and which were, from their point of view, the opportunities that the hospitality industry can challenge in order to give back value to this job. And the question was, why nobody will say to his son or daughter, I would like you to be a waiter in your life? But the waiter has always been seen like a Series B job. That's the fact. Instead, from the other side, if you've been working in hospitality, you know that working as a waiter or working in a kitchen is really fun. I mean, you are with people, you're not spending your time in front of a PC, sitting on a desk, but you're working with people, food, wine, moments in which, even if you're working, you are sharing experiences and you are creating experiences for the people. And I believe it's one of the best jobs to create a relationship and to be animals, meaning living with other people, no? And interacting with other people. So that's why I started this thesis, to understand what can we change culturally. So what we found out, me and a friend of mine that was doing the thesis with me, psychologist as well, we find out that one of the main pain points both for employers and workers, was to match the exact work from one side and the exact worker from the other side. So while we were interviewing the employers were asking to us that we were students, can you help me to find workers? And the workers were asking to us, can you help us to find the right job that I would like to? And there we came up with the idea of we should create a matching platform. But we were two psychologists with no experiences in business, no experiences in engineering. We didn't have parents making companies or software or neither of this. We spent 1 year making challenges, hackathons, masters, learnings of every kind to understand as much as possible on how to create a startup. And we met two engineers, management engineer and a tech engineer. So more focused on machine learning and all this kind of stuff that today are buzzwords, but yesterday was creating something new. And we started Restworld in 2020 with the ambition to create the talent acquisition business partner for the Oracle world.
Nice. And you mentioned the hackathon. I went to a hackathon once where it was over a weekend. This is in Australia, and they're amazing. Like the energy and the ideas, it's insane. So for people listening, if you've never been to one, it's just a bunch of people walk into a large room and then people kind of pitch ideas. Here's my concept. And suddenly you break out into teams and everyone over the weekend tries to build something. Like sometimes people are selling products that don't even exist yet that they then turn into products. So wonderful thing. So that's brilliant. Another thing you mentioned was, by the way, you're so brave, learning English in Edinburgh. I'm very impressed. Going to Scotland is a brave way to do it. But yeah, an issue I keep coming back to my mind is that the restaurant sector, it's such a tight, pressured environment for the cost management. Margins and narrow margins are tight. What's it like saying to employers to pay for a service that would help them hire staff? Is that a challenge? Is it not? How do they perceive it?
We opened in 2020, so we started 2 weeks before the lockdown in Italy for the pandemic.
Oh, well done.
COVID.
Great timing.
So great timing, amazing. And so we spent the first 2 years trying to work on our business model and trying to understand which was the better fit for our business model in terms of giving a service to the employers that was not burning their money. And from the other side, it was giving us the possibility to create something that is predictable and not just when you have success, you obtain money. If you don't have success in terms of hiring, you don't obtain money. So at the end, we came up with that the retainer fee and success fee that is normally used from the staffing agencies was something that was not fitting in the hospitality sector. So we completely moved to another business model that is a subscription model. And it's a subscription model in which you deliver a service that is a recruiting as a service, meaning that every month that you pay this subscription, you have a platform and you have a recruiter that is following your job researches and is from our team. So basically, we created this subscription in which you sign the contract for the most time that you sign the contract for. To give you an example, we have monthly, quarterly, and yearly subscription. The yearly subscription costs the half of the monthly subscription. Right. Compared month by month. So we have the price depends on the months of the subscription, and it depends on the number of job researches that you have. So it's like we created a matrix for the pricing for this business model. And restaurants used to spend an average of 450, 490 euros with us per month, in which they have a recruiter that is following their job researches. And instead of hiring a recruiter, or instead of spending your time as an entrepreneur or spending the time of the store managers, etc., you have a person that is following you all the time that you need people to be hired, or you need benches of people that you would like to introduce in your company or that you would like to have in your radar of your company. And we do all of this with our recruiter, but with our technology, meaning that we have a reach in terms of marketing on our job positions, on the job positions of our customers, that is really booming. Meaning if a restaurant is able to reach 1,000 people for a single job position and receive 100 applications, with the same job description, with the same restaurant, we reach 100,000 workers and we collect 1,000 applications, but we still have one person that is hired. So wow. The quality of the hiring, the quality of the matching is really deep because we have marketing for the job positions of our customers, and we spend a lot of money on this.
Right. Spend a lot of money on getting that the balance between the technology and then the actual recruiter support. Is that what you mean?
Yes, we spend a lot of money. I mean, I was saying into the marketing that we do on the job positions of our customers. Moreover, we have a database of 100,000 people, but it's growing. So we are reaching a data in which we have a structure in our company of technology that gave us the possibility to do what we call worker mining, meaning that the data mining, but for workers, meaning that
Yep.
we continuously take and collect data on our workers on what they would like to do, which are their motivations, which their style of working, if they are changing their career paths and all this kind of stuff. So we have a marketing structure for our database to reach the right candidates to the right job position that is really is a nerd stuff. I mean, we are really nerd on this kind of stuff. So that's one of our biggest advantage.
Another advantage is the fact that you specialize in a particular sector, in a particular industry, so the restaurants industry, which means that, yes, you're spending a lot of money to promote each role, to make sure that there are enough candidates, enough applicants for each role. But over time, I'm guessing that the reputation, the branding of Restworld increases, which starts to increase the flow of organic or free applicants and so on. Basically, people find out about Restworld as the place to go to find restaurant jobs. And so they will go and visit the site rather than wait for an ad to be placed in front of them on LinkedIn or whatever job site that may be out there. Is that your intention? Because to connect to that, I find it really interesting in the back-end services that you do. So it's not just a jobs portal for candidates, leaving the employers aside, but the candidates, the people. You do a lot of stuff on the back end to help them. I think there's sort of 4 or 5 different services you offer to them to make their life even better. And so that as well will increase the branding, positioning, recognition, and sort of love for the site. Can you tell us a bit about that back end stuff that will help increase the positioning and recognition of Restworld?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2021, we decided to focus on creating community behind workers. So we're not just a staffing agency that find workers for the employers, but we create community for the work into the workers' world in the hospitality. That's why we are focusing just on hospitality to be the matching point for the hospitality, and people will feel that we are the ones that find these connections in the hospitality. And you recognize the brand as something that is similar to you because you're working in this sector. So there is not a staffing agency that is generalist or a job board that is generalist like Indeed, but you recognize as someone that speaks your same language. So that was the first focus. The second focus was to create a platform that was not just a job board, but we have a platform that you enter inside of a map because you're working in hospitality. So you're not working remotely, you work in a place.
Yeah.
So you have interest into understanding the jobs where are located near your area, or if you would like to travel around the world, where you can go through the job positions that are open in our platform. And then we said, okay, you're looking for a job. When you apply to a job position, usually into the job board, you don't have nothing. No, the relation is just on WhatsApp, is on email, etc. We decided to create something that was like an assistant in which you can understand in which step are you of the screening process. So the screening, you've been sent to the employer already contacted you, you are making an interview. When you have the interview, a reminder that you have the interview. So giving an assistance during the selection process, and at the same time, when you're looking for a job, you're looking for a job 1 hour, 2 hours per day, but the rest of your day, you have other problems. So you get stuck, you have stress because you're looking for a job. Usually looking for a job is a stressing period of life, and people are not so open sometimes to speak with their friends about their pains of looking for a job. So they would like to speak with someone else. That's why we are starting now a collaboration 1 year ago with Housing Anywhere that gives to our workers the possibility to have priority support in looking for an house. And at the same time, they have a discount for the first month of renting. And from the other side, we said, okay, the third point of pain for the workers that are looking for a job is that sometimes they need to reskill themselves, mostly not on the hand job, so the how to cook something or how to bring something to the table, but in terms of relationship with the other workers and leadership with other colleagues, or relationship with the customers. So we have 3 courses from another partner for our community. For the first month, they're looking for a job. And then to close all these 5 elements of what you need out of looking for a job is to understand how the bureaucracy in your country works. So it means which are the benefits you can have from the state, from the government, when you're looking for a job, when you're losing a job, or during the time you have a job. So that's why we are partnering with Bonus X. So this is a preview, obviously, of what we are creating, because we will launch these 5 elements at the end of this year. This is a bit of spoiler, but the partners are already engaged about this. And we are trying to close the 5th element, because I told about 4, but the 5th element is the bank account. So many workers, sometimes if they are the first experience of work, or even if they already worked, they open a bank account in some moment of their lives that was probably chosen by their parents or for necessity. So they didn't reflect on which is the right bank account to open. And today the technology and the fintech world is booming, is evolving really fast. So sometimes they have a bank account that is really old, they need to go still on a place to make a withdrawal or things like this. So we are trying, and if somebody is listening to this company, we are trying to create a partnership with Revolut. We would love to create this partnership because we believe that it's one of the best bank accounts that you can have today to manage even your salary in Italy. And so that's what we are trying to do, to close the 5 elements. We are helping the workers during their life finding a job.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a great idea. Yeah, we use Revolut Business for banking purposes for the business because it's got all the different currencies and segmented spaces and stuff. So yeah, I think that's very smart. But yeah, I love what you're doing to not just be this faceless job site that focuses on an industry, because anyone can do that. You're doing a whole lot more for the employers. You're putting a lot of money in to promote the jobs and so on to make sure that they're getting good candidates in and enough candidates in. But you've also got the recruiters supporting them so that there's an actual service. You've got a different fee structure around the retainer subscription model, which is different again. And then on the candidate side, you've got all these, well, obviously it's the place to be for restaurant jobs, but then you've got all these back-end services or extra ways to support them in the sort of 5 ways that you mentioned. But you've built in all of that around a community, which I think is so important. And we've seen ever since COVID, the need for these sort of communities that are online, these opportunities to support each other in different ways. So I think that's very, very smart. In terms of the marketing and growth, it's a 2-sided marketplace, but for the employers to try and get more of them on, because they're the ones who pay the bills, what kind of marketing things are you doing to get the word out and to acquire more customers for Restworld?
Yep. Okay. To answer this question, I need to let you understand which is our moment today. We are crossing the 1 million euros in revenue this year. Fantastic. So we are a startup and we raise money, obviously, because we burn money every single month until today. So we are in a phase in which into the startup world is the seed round. So we already made the pre-seed, that is the validation of the idea of the business model or looking for a kind of market traction. The seed is the moment in which you optimize your product market fit, and then the Series A is when you start scaling. So in this period, we decided not to have so many channels of customer acquisition, but to focus on the channel that was performing better. And today is Meta. So for the fact that we are focusing not on big chains, but on little restaurants with 1, 2, 3 shops, we decided to focus on Meta because it's where you can find the largest majority of restaurants that are not on LinkedIn, that you cannot find their emails, that if you go shop per shop in person is really time consuming and all this kind of stuff. So Meta is a good channel that we are using today. And the funnel is easy because you have advertising on Meta, then you have a type form in order to validate that the employer is someone that is good, meaning no illegal jobs, not so many hours and this kind of stuff. Then from the type form, you jump into a Calendly and you book a call with our sales team. So the process is really, it's direct marketing completely. So from the advertising to the sales call, and then if the sales sell you the service, you have the recruiter that will do the onboarding with you and that will follow you for the rest of your life into the Restworld world.
Yeah, got it. So Meta, for people who don't know Meta, or, with Twitter becoming X and stuff, Meta is Facebook, so Facebook ads. Your Meta or your Facebook ads campaign, let's say, is around fill in a form, book a call, have a sales call, hopefully sign up. So what do you say in the ads? And then what do you say on the type form? Because they're kind of scary steps for someone to go, oh, who wants to speak to a salesperson who's going to try and take money from me? You have to be quite convincing. What do you do?
So in the creative, we enhance the problem. So we say, are you still looking for workers using Facebook groups? Or are you still looking for workers putting a paper on your window saying, I'm looking for a waiter, or things like this? Stop doing this and start to work with someone that will help you not just to find the person, but to understand which is the person that you need. Because sometimes you think you need someone, but the reality is that you don't have a clearly vision of your organizational chart, of your processes, of the relationship between different, we call brigata in Italian, means that from different people working in the same kitchen. The majority of the employers, they came to us and say, I want a waiter like this, and this. Then they do the onboarding call, and at the end of the call, they understand that they need something different. It's still a waiter, but it's not what they were thinking for. So we said, don't do it alone. Ask to the experts. Have a talent acquisition business partner means to continue to select your people that you would like, but with the support of a stronger entity that will make you a mastermind in this sector.
I know some businesses that spend tens to even hundreds of thousands of dollars, euros per day even, or per month on Meta or Facebook ads. For someone who's never done it, for a business that's never run Facebook ads, what lessons have you learned? Because you can burn through money and not get anything, but it's obviously working for you and you must have had some lessons and changes, improvements along the way. Any advice?
So it's not the channel that take it all, meaning that even if you're doing good numbers on Meta, there is a limit of time that depends on the quantity of people that you impress, meaning in the number of impressions. The word is limited to a number of people, so that you reach a point in which the funnel doesn't work anymore, the price doesn't work anymore, or the customer acquisition cost doesn't work anymore. It's 22 months that we opened the advertising, and we're still collecting leads and then active customers for less than 50 euros per customer. So it's really amazing as a channel when you find the right balance. So first of all, it's not the only channel because it's not forever. So you need to start thinking about, if you're using Meta for the 80-90% of your business, you need to know that if something is changing in the algorithm of Meta, or if you reach your cap in terms of the geography area that you are advertising on, you need to find other channels. So Meta is a good channel, but it's a channel that needs to be inside of an holistic marketing approach. So someone see you on Meta and it's interesting in what you're doing, but be sure that they will go on other channels to find you. So if you're not taking care of reviews on Trustpilot, on Google Maps, if you're not taking care of the press, if you're not taking care on what's said about your company in groups, in chats, in other channels, Meta doesn't work. Because yes, I'm interested, I filled the type form, I got a call in 5 days. At the 4th day, I will have a check on what is Restworld. If what I look on the internet, on Google, is not convincing me, you are off.
You're a no-show, yeah.
Yes. So I believe that Meta is a powerful channel to reach people, but you need to think about your brand positioning all the time.
Excellent advice. So yeah, you can find some very impressive marketing channel to use, whether that's paid or not, but unless the wider ecosystem is in place and you're looking after your business, your brand, then it could fail. And in fact, especially with Facebook or Meta ads, you can get all those angry comments from people below your ads, ruining the ad. So being very careful.
This is a huge problem. The comments on the advertising is something that it gives to everyone the possibility to say something. So inside everyone, there is every point of view, no?
Thank goodness those people have so much spare time to leave these comments. It's wonderful. So Restworld is a two-sided marketplace. So you're helping employers and you're also helping employees or candidates. Do you have a referral program in place?
Absolutely. We have referral programs in place from both sides. From the worker side is already quite enough tested, because we decided to create these kind of challenges. The challenges are a 1-month challenge in which people can apply, people working in Orica. And during this month, they have a dedicated platform with all the job positions that we have. but they can share these job positions with other people in channels, in groups, in wherever they want. And for every single applicant that we receive and is validated, they receive money, not for hiring, but for applicants. So we have these challenges that are rolling during the year. So every time we have 50 people that we call ambassadors, and they spend their time or their free time mostly because they used to work in other things, but actually helping other people to find jobs. Okay, so they are committed from two sides. From the ethical side, helping other people to find a job, and from the money side, they are gaining money to help other people to find a job, even if they don't have any kind of company. And it's really interesting because we spend a lot of money, as I told you before, on marketing, meaning that we gave a lot of money to the job boards, like Indeed, but you're giving money to Indeed. You're not giving money to people in the HoReCa sector. While doing the challenges, we take the money from the employers and we give the money to the workers. So we are kind of Robin Hood of the HoReCa sector, no? So that's something that we really believe because we're giving money back to the people and not back to the job boards.
Can you clarify what a challenge is, or how does it work?
Yeah, the challenge is so people can apply to the challenge, and the challenge is 1 month in which you have your own platform, in which you have all the job positions of Restworld. You have links of the job positions with an UTM tracking code that is your code, and you can send this link in WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, Facebook groups, or wherever. I mean, you can print a QR code and push it into a catering school. So wherever. And then you have a dashboard in which you can see how the job positions that you are sharing are performing. So how many applicants see the job position, how many applicants actually apply to the job position, and meaning that how much money am I gaining, because you gain money for every single application, for every single worker that is sent to the shortlist to the employers from our side. So you have a dashboard in which you can see this kind of stuff, and then you have the dashboard in which you can see who is the number one of the ambassadors that are attending the challenge. So actually the challenge is not something which you are competing with others, but you sustain the others. Everyone is helping other people now. So they help each other to help other people to find a job. So we call it challenge, but actually it's like it's an individual job that you can do for a month, but in the same time you are helping the others that are working with you to reach better numbers. But you have a list in which there is a champion, but it doesn't win money. It's just the winner that is the one that helped the most people to find a job. It's called the WOM challenge, meaning word of mouth challenge.
Oh, got it. Word of mouth challenge. I love it. I'm laughing to myself because, I'm asking these questions about systems or marketing channels, and a different person might say, well, we do this marketing channel and this method, but I'm speaking to a psychologist at the same time. So you're not just thinking about the systems and processes, but you're thinking about how people work, how groups work, how emotions work, and how it all connects together. So I love the fact that you're making it a holistic service and holistic marketing as well. So that's very smart. It's not Rest Italia, it's Rest World. So what does that imply? Does that mean that we could see Rest World in other countries?
I imagine a moment in which if you had 20 years and you finish your school or your university or something, and you would like to have an experience abroad, and you know how to bring 2-3 plates to the table and to speak to people and to smile, I would like to give you the possibility to go all over the world in which you know the language that they are speaking there and start working from the day after.
Nice.
And be able to be in this country and to work in this country while traveling in this country and then move to another country. So that's my idea of what it means to create a restaurant world in which you can working in hospitality, travel the world and move around the world whenever you want. So that's the heart of what we're trying to do, to give the possibility to the people that are working in hospitality to use the most beautiful and biggest advantage of working in hospitality is over the relationships, food, wine, and tasting, etc. But it's the possibility to travel because it's the same job all over the world.
So then if I ask that slightly differently, what does the future hold for Restworld?
So today we are still at the day one of our company. So we made from 0 to 1 million actually in terms of money, because you need to evaluate companies on money at some point. Next step is we are closing a fundraising of 1 million euros, and the next year we will try to triple our revenues, starting to look for a Series A round. and starting to consolidate the market in Italy and open a couple of satellites around Europe, we would like to start not opening countries, but helping Italian restaurants abroad to find workers from Italy to move in different countries. And then we will start working with local places in different countries. It depends on the geography that we are going to open. I still don't have a prediction. I would like to say we are going to Spain and then we are going to France because are the nearest countries, the most familiar in terms of culture and all this kind of stuff. But just the experience will tell us which is the right story. But the idea is to bring Restworld to be a company that deliver 50,000 hires per year into the hospitality world, and that is a door for a career path in hospitality that is not just I need to do it as a Series B work, but I want to do it because I can create a future, a career, a family, bringing to this job the real value that it has.
Just to round things off, what advice would you have to other HR tech founders or other HR related businesses in terms of the marketing growth? You know, what lessons learned, or what advice would you share with them to help them grow bigger, better, faster, easier? What's your advice?
I cannot talk about the entire HR tech world, but I will focus just on the recruiting side because it's the benchmark more close to what I'm doing. Actually, if I can give an advice to the ones that are starting now, a recruiting service is not just finding the right candidates for the right place. It's helping both sides understanding which are their pains during the moment in which they are looking for a job or they're looking for a person. So you don't need just to think about recruiting as the target point in which you hire or you've been hired, but you need to think about recruiting as a process in which you need to take care of the entire journey of a person looking for a job or a restaurant or a company challenging an empty place or a substitution or this kind of stuff, and trying to understand that it's not just the final result that is the hiring, but the journey is the fundamental.
Yeah.
So many times I spoke with people that started something in our domain and they failed because they didn't understood exactly the journey. So they create a wonderful software that is dancing, singing, and exploding with a lot of images and colors. But at the end, they were missing the part in which is the employer that needs to extract value. And if the employer doesn't know how to use it, doesn't want to use it, and it's interesting to saving time and not spending time on a platform, this is not the service that you need to deliver, even if you are still delivering the same service. So recruiting. But the way in which you deliver the service, if it's not compatible with the journey of the employer, is useless.
Absolutely. I suppose the analogy I had on the weekend when I was picking up my kids, when you walk through a path and there's a beautiful set of stairs or pathway in one direction, but next to it is actually where everyone else walks across the grass because it's just shorter, easier. And so we can build these amazing products, services, features, etc., that if people don't want, or there's an easier way to do it, or if it doesn't help them, then just they're not going to use it. So make sure it fits their needs, their requirements, and it's built in a holistic way that matches their journey. So wonderful. Luca, thank you very much. If people want to learn more about Restworld, what should they do next?
So Google it.
Perfect.
I mean, we have a funny profile on Instagram in which we used to take joke of the dynamics in the hospitality industry and take joke and be serious. I would like to be more serious, but I know that Instagram works better with the jokes. But our website, restworld.it, unfortunately is still just in Italian, but we're working on the internationalization of every language. And I used to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn talking about stuff, and the LinkedIn has now the button see translation, so you can continue to follow what we're creating with Restworld on my LinkedIn profile.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. So check the show notes if you're listening to this on the go. We'll have Luca's LinkedIn profile there and the Instagram link, and also restworld.it. But Luca, I congratulate you on the 0 to 1 and all that you built, and then the way you're going about it, I think is a fabulous thing. So thank you for what you've done, and thank you for sharing your time today.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for everyone who listened until now. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on A Better HR Business, the podcast that explores the world of HR consulting and HR tech businesses. For show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Remember to subscribe and share the show with any friends who are busy growing a HR business. Thanks, and see you next time.